Gentlemen of the media, we are back with the Orlando Pirates head coach, Coach Jose Riveiro. Welcome, Coach.
Thank you.
Please just give us a brief summary of the match from your perspective.
Well, it was a nice game to see, I guess, from the fan side. The game was very fast in the second half, especially not in the first one. The first one was more tactical, more tight, less space. We need to be more precise in our build-up against the medium block. They control us very well. The way we progress from the center backs to the next line, it was mostly every time under control. We managed to rotate after 20-25 minutes when they got a bit more tired to try to find a bit more advantage with, especially with Saleng in the right side. So the game was under control, I think, but not with very clear chances until we managed to capitalize one of the few ones. From there, I think until the end of the first half, the game was really under control, and we should go to the halftime with more advantage. Second half start a bit slow. I don't really know what happened in the action of the penalty, what we did wrong, because I was not watching in that direction in that moment. But anyway, they didn't score, and it was one of the keys in the game that they didn't manage to equalize. And after that, the team, I think we did a lot of things very well. The players, they have a lot of talent, and they can manage to solve the game one more time in very fast transitions as well, which is nice to see from the fan perspective. I think it was a very entertaining second half. But yeah, very happy to be in the semi-finals one more time, that we're gonna play a semi-final together. And really happy for everyone today on the field, in the stands, because I think we delivered a good, entertaining game, football game.
Okay, questions from the floor?
Felicidades, entrenador.
Gracias.
Por ganar el partido.
Muchas gracias.
Coach, how important was it for you to draw first blood in this match as defending champions, to temporarily release the pressure? Because we do know that pressure is mounting on you as defending champions.
No, look, for me it's a responsibility. I don't use the word pressure for that scenario. It's an opportunity. We finish in the top 8, that's why we are in the MTN 8. Like everybody else in the tournament, that's the first. Then we have the opportunity to go to the same semi-finals and play a semi-final together again, which is where Pirates should be, you know, every time we play a tournament, and now with the clear objective to be in the final. But we don't face the situation with, I think we have enough pressure in every game to say no now because we won the last time. No, it's a different tournament. Last season, Stellenbosch wasn't there, Swallows. So it's a different tournament. It's the same tournament, but it's a different one. I don't know if I managed to express myself here, but in the end, it's an opportunity to get one more title. And that is the objective. We want to play all the games again, the 4 ones, be in the final, but for that, we need again to do exceptional performances for sure, because we're going to cross our path with an excellent team for sure. And we get it with illusion, not with pressure. We like to play, we like to play important games. The players really do, and that's the way we go to the games, not thinking that we are in possession of the title. And no, we are not boxing, we are playing football, and yeah, we want to do it with harmony and with happiness when it's possible.
I'll take the next 3 questions. Next 3 questions. Other than the coughing, Mr. Velila. Okay, Velila, it looks like you've got the final question. Coach, it's going to be a very short one, eh?
They are boring.
After the display, come here and call us. Come on, guys.
Yeah, coach, congratulations on the emphatic victory. Let's talk about, it's 9 goals in 2 matches now, and 5 of the goals coming from the same player. How do you look at this in terms of the return from the boys, and also if you look at in terms of the dominance in the attack as well? How do you review how your boys have not only scored but also creating chances?
So far, I think that you can easily notice and see that they are having fun. They really are getting joy playing together. We are going forward. Sometimes the game becomes like a storm, and one of the keys, I think, or not the keys, but maybe a small difference with the beginning of the last season, because I think in the end of the season, the previous one, we were pretty much the same in terms of the amount of players that finish the actions in the box or close to the box, and that give much more possibilities to catch rebounds, second actions, to press a bit higher in the lost, and that's why. And then, of course, the forward players in the squad, they are very talented players. So obviously after 9 goals I can only be happy in 2 games, understanding that it's not going to be always like that. We were very effective a few days ago. Today we were very clinic in the first chances that we got in the second half, maybe more than the previous game against Royal AM, but understanding that it's not always possible to score 4 or 5 goals in 1 game. Sometimes 1, and then you have to keep the clean sheet like we did today, and it's something that makes me feel also very happy. When we managed to win the MTN 8, it was one of the keys, or if not the main one. It was our consistency in defense. We didn't concede a single goal. 1 against Royal AM in offside, but then in the semi-finals 2 clean sheets in the final, and in these knockout games, in this competition, it's the key. Otherwise, you need to be really accurate up front, and that's the most difficult thing. So I'm glad to finally keep the clean sheet in the 3rd official game of the season, because we couldn't do it in the 2 league games. So overall, I think we can give them a good qualification after the last 2 games this week. They did a fantastic job.
Congratulations, coach, on the victory.
Thank you.
Last week you said you scored 4 and you said it with a smile, and today you scored 5, but I don't see the same smile. But anyway, we're not there. Coach, a Lebasa who has been under so much pressure with the fans, even last week when he scored the brace, they were actually not patient with him. How do you deal with players that are under pressure and they keep bringing the best out of themselves? You are the coach, you still give them game time. I mean, Zakes has been marvelous to watch, but not all fans understand what his role is in this club. Can you just give us a little explanation as to what is it that you expect from him as a coach, and what is it that the fans should do to support him?
I cannot tell to our fans what to think or what to do. They are football fans, they are mature, and they watch the games, and they have their opinions about what we do. We try to improve the history of the club every week, preparing ourselves as good as possible for each and every game that we are going to play. And maybe, it's like nowadays the roles are not like maybe years ago. I mean, the keeper is not only there to save goals, he's there also to help us to play better. And if sometimes the goalkeeper loses the ball, we have to accept it. It's part of the process. And the striker is not there only to score goals. Years ago we played straight to the striker, second ball to the second striker, we shoot, we score, rebound, that's all. Nowadays the strikers or the farthest player They are doing much more things, sometimes to create the spaces, to stretch the field, to fix 2-3 players in one spot, so then Rile and Salen, they can have more space and time on the ball, etc., etc. Obviously, the fans in the end, they will always rank the strikers depending on the amount of goals that they score. But I will invite them also to have a look of the amount of work that the striker is doing on the field to make everybody else play better in the pressing, to keep our lines high. They are the first one to start to defend. So there's a lot of things in every position that play a role when we decide who is playing, who is not. So I'll never judge the one player only for one thing, because sorry, but we are asking for much more things to the players to do. One is not enough. I don't know if I managed to express myself here, but when the striker, because it's the truth, I'm not gonna deny the truth. We all look to the striker like someone who's going to score goals in the end of the season. So when you can add to all of the other things the possibility to put the ball in the net, you know, it's perfect. But never forgetting all the other things that the players are doing on the field apart from scoring goals, because it's not fair, because then there's other positions or players that will be in the same scenarios, they are missing the goals, but it seems that it doesn't matter. If he's a midfielder or if he's a number 10 and he misses a goal, you know, unlucky. But when he's the striker, then we go and we are a bit more aggressive with them, because it seems that they have to put, and it's not like that. Everybody must contribute, scoring goals, defending, stopping transitions, etc., etc. When you see the striker running to the goalkeeper and stopping one transition, is key for an example, but nobody cares, you know, and he has to do maybe 20 meters full speed to stop the goalkeeper, but nobody cares about those 20 meters, but for the team it's capital. So, and like this, a lot of things, you know. So let's you know, try to have the whole picture always, not only small things that we can criticize the player because, you know, miss a pass or miss one ball. It's much more than that.
Final 2 questions. The gentleman Jose Riveiro.
Hi, Coach Sitembi Sodini from Times Live. Your next game, you're traveling to Chippa United. I don't know what you fix from your side after such performance, but what are your expectations from them, from what you've seen? They've got a new coach. I don't know if you faced him before or not. What are your expectations from them?
Well, we just finished the quarterfinals right now. I'll start thinking about not about the game, about what the opposition is going to do or trying to do against us, and what we have to do to counteract that, and how can we, you know, perform in the right way there. We know every away game is difficult. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of Buccaneers to support us, even in the away game, like they did the last season in Port Elizabeth. And difficult game, like usually for Pirates, you know, we're gonna find a team extra motivated to receive Pirates there at home. They're gonna play their chances, their possibilities, and we have to. The key in the end, it doesn't matter if today we perform like this and now we go to Port Elizabeth and we are too far from this level. I don't say that we have to replicate this level every time, but the key is that our worst game is not too far from our best game. I don't know if you understand what I mean. If we manage to be there, then we are much more close to win games because they are good.
Coach, just a question on your formation. We see now, it seems like when you play maybe with the so-called one holding midfielder instead of 2, does it give them more freedom, more let the players be able to express themselves? And is this the formation you stick with, or does it depend on who you play?
What do you mean holding?
I'm saying maybe sometimes you'll play a team in a Munare and they seem to sit back, but now maybe the last 2 games you've got a Munare and Ndlondlo who goes forward a bit more.
No, we use the midfielders in different ways. Obviously, every player have a different profile, different characteristics. We don't have just copies of the players. But it depends. Look, against Stellenbosch, our midfielders were always free. So most of the time they were on the ball. But we didn't play with holding midfielder. We played with two every time, and they were grabbing. They were always free on the ball. So Philip, for an example, in Stellenbosch, he was much more protagonist on the ball in that game. Taban as well, but Philip much more in the left side. Royal AM, they were almost main marking in the middle. So Taban and Philip were less on the ball. Our centre backs, they have more time on the ball. It was a totally different approach from the opponent. So what we do in that case, we try to utilize the approach of the opponent in our advantage, trying to create the spaces with them, and maybe instead of play from centre back to midfielder, playing from centre back to the next line. So the games were different, even though we played with the same midfielders the last 3 games. Their role was completely different in all of them. So we need to be a bit more specific to say how much they play forward if we want to compare with the ones who didn't play, because it's not totally correct. Am I happy with them? They played the last 3 games in a row. I think it is the answer.